Hello students. In this lecture I will cover today transport layer and its services, the responsibilities of transport layer and the various protocols existed at this layer, that is TCP, UDP and SCTP. The transport layer is the core of the TCP IP model. It is not just another layer but the heart of the whole protocol hierarchy. Protocol at this layer oversee the delivery of data from an application program on one device to an application program on another device. It is the first end-to-end layer in the OSI model and TCP/IP model also. It provides its services to the upper layer to use the services of the network layer and other lower layer protocols. You are aware that an internet is comprises of several physical networks such as LAN, MAN and WANs that are connected together through a variety of media like wired media and wireless media to facilitate the transfer of data from a computer on one network to another computer on another network. As a transmission moves from one network to another, the data on the way may be transformed, that is, it may be encapsulated in different types and length of packets. So the upper layer protocols are unaware of the intricacy of the physical network, the transport layer. To the upper layers, the individual physical networks are simple, homogeneous networks that somehow takes data and delivers it to its destination reliably, basically. For example, even if an internet in the LAN part of internet is replaced by FDDI, the upper layer remains unaware of it. To them, the internet is a single and essential unchanging network. The transport layer provided this transparency. So, examples of transport layer protocols, as you can uh, uh, so the examples of transport layer protocols are transmission control protocol and user data gram protocol. So we will first discuss different types of services provided by transport layer first. Uh, so I begin by looking at the kind of services that transport layer can or should provide to upper layer protocols. In the figure you can see outlines of environments for transport services. There is a transport entity that provides services to the upper layer users, which might be an application process such as HTTP, Telnet, etc. This local transport entity communicates with some remote transport entity based on the services provided by the network layer. So the general service provided by the transport layer is end-to-end transport of data in a way that shield the upper layer user from the details of the underlying network infrastructure. The various categories of services are generally used for describing the services provided by the transport layer. That is type of service, quality of services, data transfer, connection management, and fast delivery. So first I will discuss here that various types of services provided by the transport layer. So there are generally two basic type of services, that is connection oriented and connectionless services, or you can say datagram services provided by the internet. A connection oriented service is the most common type of protocol service available. It provides the establishment, maintenance and termination of a logical connection between you can say among the various users. This is also called handshaking procedures. The connection oriented service generally implies that the service is reliable, which includes features such as flow control, error control and sequence delivery. Flow control makes sure that neither side of a connection overwhelm the other side by sending too many packets too quickly. So connection oriented service is accomplished using TCP, that is transmission control protocol. Reliable transport, flow control and congestion control are type of services that are provided to an application by TCP. These services are acknowledged. TCP's congestion control mechanism is used to maintain throughput. In case of connectionless services, there is no handshaking here before sending the packet. There are also no flow control and congestion control mechanisms. Since there is no handshaking procedure, data can be transferred faster. But there is no reliable data transfer either, as these services are acknowledged. The internet connectionless service is called UDP, that is User Datagram Protocol. Some of the applications of connectionless services are internet telephony and video conferencing. The connection oriented transport service is similar to the connection oriented network service. So the question is, why do we require two different layers to provide the same type of service? The answer to this question is that the transport code runs on the user's machine, whereas the network layer runs mostly on the routers, which are controlled by the carrier, which provide poor services. Therefore, the only possibility is to put another layer on top of the network layer. That improves the quality of service. It is due to the transport layer that application programmers can write programs according to a standard set of library procedure calls and have these programs run on network without worrying about dealing with different subnet interface and unreliable transmission. So there is a place at the transport level for both the connection oriented and a connectionless type of services used. Now I will discuss about the quality of services. The transport protocol entity should allow the upper layer protocol users to specify the types of quality of transmission services to be provided. Based on these specifications, the transport entity attempts to optimize the use of the underlying link, network and other resources to the best of its ability, so as to provide the collective requested services. But these services are limited to the internet capabilities of the network layer services. Example of services that might be requested are fast delivery of packet, acceptable error and loss level of packet, desired average and maximum delay in transmission of a packet, desired average and minimum throughput, and last one is priority level. So, as you know, that IP is a standard protocol for the network layer. IP does provide a quality of service parameter such as priority as well as binary specification for normal or low delay, normal or high throughput, and normal or high reliability. So the transport entity can make a request to the internetwork entity. The network may, after flow control parameters and the amount of network resources allocated on a virtual circuit to achieve desired throughput. The transport layer may also split one transport connection among multiple virtual circuits to enhance throughput. So you must be aware that different applications may require different quality of service. For example, a file transfer protocol might require high throughput. It may also require high reliability to avoid transmission at the file transfer level. A transaction protocol like web browser, web server may require low delay. An electronic mail protocol may require multiple priority levels. So one approach to providing a variety of quality of service is to include a quality of service facility within the protocol. The transport protocol typically follow the same approach. An alternative is to provide a different transport protocol for different class of traffic. This is to some extent the approach taken by ISO standard family for transport protocol. An application layer protocol needs from the transport layer. Basically, there are expectation of application layer from transport layer is reliable data transfer, bandwidth, and time, or you can say timing or delay. So, reliable data transfer means that there is not a single bit of loss of data during transaction. So there are certain types of applications which does not tolerate any loss of data, such as financial application. In a particular, a loss of file data or data in a financial transactions can have harmful consequences. Other application in the category are transfer of web documents, electronic mails, file transfer, and remote host access. But there are some applications which can tolerate some amount of data loss. For example, multimedia applications such as real-time audio or video. In these multimedia application, lost data might result in a small disturbance while playing an audio or video. The effect of such a loss and application quality and actual amount of tolerable packet loss will depend strongly on the application and the coding scheme used. Now, bandwidth is one of the most important factor here. As you know, higher the bandwidth, more the channel capacity. There are certain applications which are bandwidth sensitive. For example, the internet telephony requires a given amount of bandwidth, but there are some other types of application called elastic application, which can make use of as much or as little bandwidth as happens to be available. Electronic mails, file transfer, and web transfers are elastic applications. The more bandwidth and the better would be transport capacity. The final service required is that of timing or delay. There are certain applications which requires tight timing constraints on data delivery in order to be effective. For example, interactive real-time applications such as internet telephony, virtual environments, teleconferencing, and multiplayer games. Many of these applications requires that end-to-end delays be on the order of a few hundred milliseconds, or you can say some lesser amount of data. Long delay in internet telephony and a long delay between taking an action and judging the response from the environment in a multiplicity game tends to result in unnatural phases in the conversation. Next service is data transfer. The whole purpose, of course, of a transfer protocol is to data transfer between two transport entities. Both user and control data must be transferred from one end to other, either on the same channel or separate channel. Full duplex service must be provided. Half duplex and simplex modes may also be offered to support a particular transport user. So here you may ask the question, if the network layer does a similar task, why is it necessary at the transport layer? The network layer oversees a hop by hop delivery of the individual packet but does not see any relationship between those packets, even those belonging to a single message. Each packet is treated as an independent entity. The transport layer, on the other hand, makes sure that not just a single packet but the entire sequence of packets. Next service is connection management. When connection-oriented service is provided, the transport entity is responsible for establishing and terminating connections. Both symmetric and asymmetric procedure for connection establishment may be provided. Connection termination can be either abrupt or graceful. With an abrupt termination, data is transmit may be lost. A graceful transmission prevents either side from shutting down until all data has been delivered. And the last delivery is fast delivery. A service similar to that provided by priority class is fast delivery of data. Some data submitted to the transport services may supersede data submitted previously. The transport entity will endeavor to have the transmission facility transfer of data as rapidly as possible. At the receiving end, the transport entity will interrupt the transport service user to notify it of the receipt of urgent data. So the fast data services is in the nature of an interrupted mechanism and is used to transfer occasional urgent data such as a break character from a terminal or an alarm condition. A priority service might dedicate resource and adjust parameter such that on average higher priority data are delivered more quickly. Now I will discuss the responsibilities of transport layer. It is basically responsible for overall end-to-end validity, integrity of the transmission. It ensures that data is successfully sent and received between two computers. If data packet get lost, transport layer detect that and ensure. Suppose you are sender and there is another receiver, so it ensures that if sender send 100 MB data, so at the receiver end it must be 100 MB. If data is sent incorrectly, so it is responsible for retransmission uh, that the error-free data is received. It provides a network independent, reliable message independent, and reliable message interchange services. This layer acts as interface between bottom and uh, uh, top layers. It hides the detailed operation of underlying network from the upper layers. So now I will discuss the protocols which are existed at this layer. So first protocol is TCP, that is Transmission Control Protocol. Transmission Control Protocol of the transport layer provides end-to-end reliable communication, as we have discussed earlier, because of overall service provided by the transport layer is end-to-end reliable communication. So TCP is a connection-oriented communication service. As the IP layer of TCP/IP protocol stack is connectionless, the TCP layer adds the reliability features along with connection-oriented services. Basically, TCP establishes a virtual circuit between the source and the destination, and the stream of bytes are transferred through that circuit such that the order of segment remains integral. The acknowledgement and retransmission of lost and damaged segment is guaranteed. In TCP, two processors running on two different hosts communicate with each other. Uh, communicate with each other. The various services being offered by TCP to the processes running on application layer are as stream data transfer, reliability, efficient control, full duplex operation, and multiplexing. So, with stream data transfer, TCP delivers an unstructured stream of bytes identified by sequence number. This service benefits applications because they do not have cop data into blocks before handing it off to TCP. Instead, TCP group bytes into segments and passes them to IP for delivery. Next service is reliability. TCP offers reliability by providing connection-oriented, end-to-end reliable packet delivery through an inter-network. It does this by sequencing bytes with a forwarding acknowledgement number that indicates to the destination. The next byte the source expects to receive Bytes not acknowledged within a specified time periods are retransmitted. The reliability mechanism of TCP allows devices to deal with lost, delayed, duplicate, or misread packets. A timeout mechanism allows devices to detect lost packet and request retransmission. Efficient flow control. TCP offers efficient flow control, which means that when sending acknowledgement back to the source, the receiving TCP process indicates the highest sequence number it can receive without overflowing its internal buffers. TCP offers full duplex operations also, wherein TCP processes can both send and receive data at the same time. TCP's multiplexing provides numerous simultaneous upper layer conversation multiplexed over a single connection. So now I will discuss about user datagram protocol. As we have discussed about TCP, TCP provides the reliable services. Reliable means it takes 100% guarantee to deliver data from source to destination. Now, user datagram protocol provides connectionless services. It provides unreliable services, means it does not take any guarantee. It has no acknowledgement services. So, if we compare TCP and UDP, TCP is reliable protocol, but user datagram provide unreliable services. So UDP is unreliable transport layer based protocol. It uses the connectionless services for providing the communication between the nodes of similar and are different networks. The internet protocol layer provides host to host communication. However, UDP provide process to process communication, as TCP also provide process to process communication. But TCP is reliable and UDP is unreliable. So as UDP is connectionless, it means that no overhead will be incurred in terms of connection establishment, connection termination, acknowledgement of packets, sequence number assigned to each packet, etc. Similar to the services offered by Internet Protocol, UDP does not provide flow control and error control. In UDP, whenever the message is ready for transmission, it is simply transferred to the lower layers without bothering about establishment of connections. Thus, in situations where a small message has to be transmitted, UDP should be employed. On the other hand, the UDP is an unreliable source of communication. It does not guarantee accuracy, reachability, and timeliness. Sequence numbers are not assigned to the packets, therefore, order of packets is not maintained and packets are unacknowledged. So UDP is convenient protocol for multimedia and multicasting application. It is suitable for processes that require simple requests, reply communication with little interest in flow and error control. So as we have seen the different protocols, that is important protocols of existed at transport layer, that is TCP and UDP. TCP is reliable protocol, but UDP is unreliable protocol. TCP provide connection oriented services, but UDP provide connectionless services. Reliability means TCP takes guarantee accuracy of data, but in case of UDP, it will never take any guarantee to deliver data correctly. So now I will discuss about the stream control transmission protocol. It provides different services. It also acts as TCP. As you can see in the slide, the various services provided by SCTP, that is Stream Control Transmission Protocol. It provides services reliable transmission, message oriented, rate adaptive, multi-homing, multi-streaming, and initiation. So SCTP is a protocol for transmitting multiple stream of data at the same time among the various users, among the various nodes, you can say computers, that have established a connection in a network, sometimes referred as next generation of TCP. You can say SCTP is next generation of TCP. So SCTP is designed to make it easier to support a telephonic connections over the internet. Actually, it works in association with signaling system SS7. A telephone connection requires that signaling information, which control the connection, be sent along with voice and other data at the same time. SCTP is also intended to make it easier to manage connections over wireless network and to manage the transmission of multimedia data. So SCTP is a standard protocol developed by Internet Engineering Task Force. So basically, when you compare TCP and SCTP, both work similar, but SCTP is an enhanced protocol. It has some more capabilities as you compare with TCP. So we have discussed here the three protocols, that is TCP, UDP and SCTP. TCP and SCTP provide reliable services, but in case of user datagram protocol, it provides unreliable services. So now in this lecture we have discussed, we have covered many topics like transport layer and its various services, responsibilities of transport layers, and the various services provided by the transport layer. Then we have discussed the various protocols